Sick of SEO theory and want some actionable tips that will actually help you rank #1 in Google? You're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 SEO tips that are working right now. In fact, I used many of these to grow a B2C brand's organic traffic from 0 to 80,000 users per month. And make sure you watch until the end of this video because I'll show you how you can use AI to make your SEO content 10 times better. So let's start with #1, which is splinter your content. So if your website is currently ranking for any keywords, then you're sitting on an SEO goldmine. Here's what you need to do. Open up SEMrush, enter your domain, go to organic research, click on positions, click the positions dropdown and select 51 through 100. I call this set of keywords clustering opportunities. In short, you're likely to have a page ranking for keywords that will never be able to rank #1 in Google because it isn't hyper-focused enough. And that's when splintering your content comes into play. For example, Gotcha SEO ranks for hot SEO review beyond position 50 with a page reviewing the top link building services. This page can never rank #1 for this keyword because it isn't relevant enough. So what I would do is create a dedicated page for hot SEO review and then internally link these pages together. And I've tested this thousands of times at this point, and the splintered content outperforms the original page 9 out of 10 times. For example, I went through this exact process with Gotcha SEO when it was ranking for the keyword iMovie crashes when importing around position 60 with my general iMovie review page. So I splintered this idea into its own dedicated asset, and it's ranked a solid #1 for 2 years without much effort. So now let's move on to SEO tip #2, actually experience a product or service before you create a product review, or use this sneaky tactic that I'm going to show you in a second. So experience is the new E in Google's EEAT guidelines, and it's based on this simple question. Does the content also demonstrate that it was produced with some degree of experience, such as with actual use of a product, having actually visited a place, or communicating what a person experienced? And this question is so important to Google that it's mentioned 108 times in the Quality Rater Guidelines, or QRG. So here are 4 ways to demonstrate firsthand experience to elevate your SEO content quality. #1, do what's difficult. Google mentions effort 101 times in the QRG, and it makes perfect sense because it's like anything else in life. For example, you're rewarded for the effort that you put into something like this guy.
That one right there is so heavy.
Just kidding, but creating content is like any other skill. The more effort and time you invest, the better it and you typically become. That's why someone like Brian Dean can publish at a random cadence and crush everyone else. Brian invests time, effort, and capital into making the best content possible instead of trying to maintain some silly editorial standard. Less is always more. And the funny thing is, I've been producing content that demonstrates experience for years, like when I analyzed 10,000 keywords to see what CMS is best for SEO. And my idea behind these types of assets stemmed from my YouTube experience in studying top YouTubers like Mr. Beast. And that brings me to point #2, which is become a human guinea pig. So look for opportunities to actually try things. And that'll require you to invest in your content. Like when I rated the best keyword research services, I actually purchased these services and shared my firsthand experience. So here's another example where we got firsthand experience with a particular product or service. And so what we did is we actually went and we tested a bunch of these niche edit backlink services. And we actually invested real hard dollars into this just to see which ones were best. And so we went through, shared all our findings, and this is another example of why doing real life experience-based things that really demonstrate firsthand experience are so powerful, because you can really have unique data, the content becomes 100% unique to you, and it doesn't feel generic like every other piece of content that you might see. So this really is the way to make your content super unique. And then we did the same thing with this blog post as well. We actually tested all these different link building services, and then we shared our findings. And once again, there's no way that someone could replicate this because everything we're talking about is unique to our specific firsthand experience. So take these examples and apply these in your industry because it can really help you generate content that's very unique and compared to your competitors, and ultimately makes you become that purple cow among all the generic competitors that are just kind of producing that really vague, kind of boring content. This will really make your content stand out. Number 3, curate experience. The highest effort content will require you to commit capital and time to demonstrate firsthand experience. Now, fortunately, there is a workaround if it's not possible for you to get firsthand experience. You can simply use other people's experience to create a content-rich page. So the first example is Rotten Tomatoes. Now, like I mentioned, you don't always have to use your own firsthand experience. You can actually jump onto other people's experience to create really great content. So I'm using some pretty extreme examples here, but Rotten Tomatoes is the best example of this. So Rotten Tomatoes itself doesn't actually do any reviews at all, but what they do is they curate reviews from experts, and then they curate reviews from the audience, so just regular people. And as a result, they have a very good scoring mechanism that's really reliable. So when you're trying to make a decision to see a movie, a lot of people refer to Rotten Tomatoes because this is such an accurate meter for how good a movie is gonna be. If it has a high critic score and a high audience score, you can pretty much determine that it's gonna be a pretty good movie. So this is just another great way where you can actually curate reviews and curate other people's experience to generate great content. And then G2 does this as well. G2 doesn't actually review these products. What it does is it actually curates reviews from other verified users. So there's many different ways to go about injecting experience into your content. So you can either do that firsthand experience, or you can leverage this technique where you actually take other people's experiences and put that into your content. And so now I'll show you how to demonstrate your experience using ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT to demonstrate experience. So ChatGPT can produce killer SEO content, but struggles to demonstrate experience, at least out of the box. So here's what you can do. Let's say you wanted to rank for the keyword phrase Jack's Pizza Review. Start by getting the average word count from a tool like Surfer. Then go and export the NLP keywords, which stands for Natural Language Processing. Now go to Amazon and copy at least 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1-star reviews. Then go to Google and search reddit.com plus keyword and copy 3 or more opinions. And then to take this to the next level, get some opinions from YouTubers. For example, I copied the transcript from the One Bite Pizza Reviews video with this extension. I then used ChatGPT to give me a summary of the video. And now it's time to develop prompts that you'll feed into ChatGPT. So the first angle is other people's experience. Here's a template you can try. And the truth is ChatGPT will likely spit out 500 to 700 words. And here's how the inputs above performed without any edits on originality.ai. Now, all you need to do is just continue the dialogue to increase the word count and depth. Angle number 2 is your quote unquote experience. Now, here's a quick disclaimer before I show you this. What you're about to see has some ethical implications, and that needs to be considered. But I'm also not the ethics police, so it's your choice to use the following methods within your own ethical guidelines. So here's the modified prompt. Now, one way to do this more ethically is just to simply try the product, then create a content brief based on your experience that you would feed into ChatGPT. And this is an excellent option if you aren't a great writer, but have some really great experience to share. And now let's move on to SEO tip number 3, which is leverage AI to scale link building. So the first technique you can use is to simply respond to Haro queries using ChatGPT. So here's the deal. The key to landing more backlinks with Haro is a combination of speed and quality. So all you need to do is feed ChatGPT the right inputs, and then you can scale your Haro campaign. Here's an example. So the first thing you need to do to land more Haro links is you need to actually develop guidelines. So these guidelines are actually not from me. I actually went and took a bunch of articles on Google and then I put them into ChatGPT to summarize some of the most important points, and then I made these guidelines based upon that. So giving the guidelines and then just go ahead and copy the query from Haro and put it directly in here. So this is all that we're trying to do, is really just input the right thing so that then ChatGPT is going to really give us a really good response based on our guidelines and based on the actual prompt here. So as you can see, scroll down and it does a really terrific job. This is a very good response, nice and concise, gets pretty deep, and it's really high quality, right? So this would be something worthy of submitting after you do a little bit of editing. I would recommend taking this, running it through Grammarly, cleaning it up, maybe add a little bit of your own experience into here. If you could, maybe add a little personality, maybe add a little bit of a case study or some type of result. or some sort of real life story in here just to make it even better. But this is a great starting point. You can really build upon this. And then what I did is actually told it to add some stuff about GPT. So it went in here and it added a little nice section about ChatGPT as well. So this is the way that you can do it. Just a very simple prompt, but the most important part is make sure you have guidelines, because then it will build based on these guidelines. It's very important. And don't forget, you can also use ChatGPT to write pitches for guest posts, interviews, or any other type of link building outreach technique. But what I really love using ChatGPT for is to create awesome link bait. So link bait is a type of SEO content designed to attract backlinks. And there are many different types of link bait, but the one I want to show you is creating a free tool or software. So the best way to find link bait ideas is actually just to look at your competitors and see what pages on their websites have attracted the most backlinks. So what I did is I went ahead and took this little website here, smallseotools.com, and I went to Best Buy links in Ahrefs, and now I can see all of the pages that have attracted the most backlinks. And so what you can do is if you see that certain pages are attracting backlinks, you can go and create something very similar with what I'm about to show you. So this is the best way to really find these opportunities. You don't need to guess. You don't need to try to theorize what actually attracts backlinks. All you need to do is just look at the competitors, see what has worked for them, and recreate something that is similar but different and better than what they currently have. Okay, so now all you need to do is create a very simple prompt that you can put into ChatGPT. So all I did was just say, create HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for a tool that does the following. Script timer that instantly estimates your script time for video at your reading speed with this fast and easy to use tool. So this description I got here is actually from the #1 ranking result in Google. So because I want to create something that's very similar, so I'm just going to take what already works and put it into the tool. And so what it will do is it will spit out the HTML, it will spit out the CSS, and it will spit out the JavaScript. Then all you have to do is actually just go right into WordPress, download this WP Coder plugin, and then what you're going to do is you're actually just going to add all of that code into here. So you'll add the HTML, you'll add the CSS, and you'll add the JavaScript. Now I will tell you, this is not going to be perfect out of the gate. It's probably going to look a little funky when you first do it, but you're going to have to adjust a little bit of the CSS, just adjust a few things. But if you run into something and it's weird or it's not working well, just go right back into ChatGPT and ask it to fix whatever the problem is that you're seeing, and it will give you revised code. And then just repeat that a few times. And so for me to get what I'm about to show you to the point of where it is, it took me about an hour. Okay, so from start to end, about an hour to get a functioning tool. Now what you do is once this is all cleaned up and the code is exactly where you want it, you actually just grab this little short code and then you go into your page creator and then you just add the short code in here. And then I also had ChatGPT actually create some content here. Just add a little bit of meat to this page, ultimately add a little FAQ section, just add a little content to it, okay? And then once it was all done, this is the end result. We have a functioning tool that actually works. So just to prove it, it's 1,200 words here, and this thing calculates perfectly. So basically what I did is I just took what was already working, another tool that was already working, and then recreated it using ChatGPT. I didn't need any extensive coding experience. All I did was just continue to go back to the tool and fix all of the hurdles that I run into, and then go back here and test it and see if it works. And that's it. Nothing super complicated. And now this actual tool here is already doing quite well, right? It's already starting to rank for a lot of keywords. We can actually sort this by position. We'll see what it's currently ranking for in the top 10. And you can see it already has captured a bunch of top 10 keywords, okay? We're talking about an hour of work here, and it's already ranking #4 for its most important keyword, which is script timer. So super awesome. Once this page gets more links, it will certainly rank much better. But this is how easy it is these days to create really good link bait that actually will rank on Google. So I can't recommend this enough. The field has really been leveled, because before you would have to work with a developer to create something like this. And now anyone can do this. Any idea that you have, you can actually bring to life with the AI now. And now you have a fully functioning piece of link bait you can promote. And the final SEO tip is to use AI to 10x the quality of your SEO content. So the best thing you can do right now to upgrade your content for SEO is to score it based on experience. Here's how. Okay, so what I did here is I created a simple prompt, And what I'm telling the AI to do is to rate this content here based on the specific guidelines. So these guidelines are taken directly from Google. Okay, so I just took these guidelines for what Google expects from high quality content. Okay, and then what I did is I just copied a little bit of the content, little content snippet, and put it in here. I didn't paste the whole thing because usually it doesn't work super well. Now here's how ChatGPT rated my best keyword research services guide based on the experience criteria. What it did is it went through and it rated the content based on what I had given it. So it gave it an 8.5 out of 10. And then it talked about the reasons for why it gave this score. Then number 3, run a follow-up prompt. And within seconds, it spits out some awesome recommendations. So then from there, I followed it up with, I want to actually see how I can get it a 10 out of 10. So what it did is it actually gave me tons of recommendations about how to make this particular content asset even better. So now I have actually some practical advice here that I can go through and implement these recommendations. Then I can go back to ChatGPT and ask it to regrade it again. And hopefully if the score is improved, it means that I've done a good job. And so this is really the beauty of this. We can now use Google's guidelines to actually improve our content. So combine the guidelines with the AI and let the AI support your content creation efforts. There's no reason that we shouldn't be upgrading, making our content better now that we actually have this entity that can tell us how to make things better. This is never in history has this been possible unless you had to go and hire a consultant to tell you what to do. But now we really have this capability now here if you feed it the right inputs, right? You have to give it the right inputs. Otherwise, it's not going to really give you anything that's super actionable. But if you give it the right inputs based on what Google is saying are the qualities of high quality content, then hopefully it should help you improve your content. And if you improve your content, theoretically, your ranking should improve as well. So then all you need to do now is number 4, upgrade your content and rinse and repeat. Just execute the recommended changes to upgrade your content. Then repeat this with the rest of your content. And this is just for optimizing your content based on experience. You can also use this exact process for product reviews. For example, take points from Google's product reviews guidelines to audit all of your existing product reviews. And then the final SEO tip is to like this video and subscribe because I have tons of other awesome videos coming out soon. Thank you so much for watching.